Hi, Lexi Daly here with this week's episode of Make It Monday for Paper Tray Ink. Today I'm going to share with you one of my favorite layout designs using sentiment strips as a grounding element. So today I thought it would be fun to focus on a clean and simple layout technique after all that ink blending and painting that we did for Stamp Affair Masters. And I decided to pull out one of my favorite go-to layouts to share with you. And that is using sentiment strips to ground my images. I really am a clean and simple stamper. The majority of the cards I stamp are all stamped with a few die cuts and just lots of white space. And this is a way to kind of make the sentiment interesting while also grounding your images. So here are a few examples. This happy birthday card, I just wanted, I don't want my hands floating in the air and I wanted them to come from somewhere. And so I hid them behind the sentiment so that grounds them and gives them a base. Here's another example of the same in a Christmas card using more die cuts, but the same idea. Here's one where it's kind of hinting that it's a counter of sorts, or maybe a table, and it's using the soup can and a little Kleenex box that I created, and the sentiment is right below it, but that little strip grounds the two images together. And here I used it as a place for the superhero silhouettes to stand almost. It just kind of hints at the ground that they're standing on. And so with those in mind, I created this card to make with you today. So let me stamp the pieces and then we will assemble the card. Okay, so here are my pieces. I'm also going to use an extra bowl, and you'll see why in a minute. Card front, sentiment strip, and my elements. Now I actually have a little bit of coloring to do on the elements, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so now here are the elements that we need. I used two brick beige and light walnut along with blush and peach to color the white spaces on my ice cream container. I was kind of going with a chocolate strawberry theme if you hadn't noticed. And the first thing that I did was stamp a little bit of a background. This is a little bit longer than the card, so I can play with placing it, which we'll get to in a minute. And then this I still need to prepare just a little bit. I want the spoon in the bowl. Oh, and you might have noticed that I did 2 spoons when I was stamping them on my Misty. I noticed after I stamped it that the handle was bent. I hadn't made sure that my stamp was straight, so then it didn't fit the die properly. I probably could have used it because just the handle is going to end up showing, but that was more the curved part, so the perfectionist in me made me want to do it again, especially since I had extra spoons sitting right over there. So in order to get the spoon in the bowl, I just sliced the bowl right here at the top. And I stick it in there. So we need a little bit of adhesive on the spoon itself. And just stick it in, put it where you want it. You can have a little bit of it sticking out if you want. For this one, I just have it in the bowl of ice cream that way. And I just press it on. Now you could stop there. I go ahead and fortify it with another die behind it just to give it a little weight, and then the spoon doesn't move around as much, and it just kind of helps me place it on there later. So that's why I have the extra die cut. And it's just as easy as lining them up. It also gives it a little bit more weight, kind of makes it more in front of the ice cream container, I guess. So the next thing I do when I'm placing, for especially this one, because I really created the sentiment to be nested into the items that I was grounding on the strip. So the next thing I do when putting this together is stick those on. And I'm just kind of lining it up so it says, I scream, you scream, we all scream hooray. And it's nice that the bowl kind of fits dipped in right into the words hooray. Like so. All right. Now, I did make the strip a little bit longer than the card. I don't always do that, but for this design, I really wanted to make sure that I got it right so that I had enough to cut off here. Now, I could let it go all the way across, but I kind of like the idea of stopping it and having kind of a stair-step interest going on with the design element, other design elements on the card. So I'm going to just cut it about right here, and I'm going to do that whole scientific thing about sticking my fingernail in it and then slicing it with my paper cutter. It's not exact, it's just gotta be close. And I notice where my, oh, there it is, right there. And it looks like it's about ½ inch. So I'm just gonna turn it over so that I can do it without messing up the other things on my card. And I got that. And I'm going to just kind of flatten that out a little bit. And now I can go ahead and stick it all on. Now for this design, I also liked the idea of kind of highlighting the ice cream bowl with the dots and letting the ice cream container hang off the edge. But really it all started with the sentiment strip and then tucking in the elements with that. Now for this little piece on the edge so that it's perfectly flush with the card, I just get my scissors straight and there we go. There is the finished card. It's got a lot of white space for my clean and simple tendencies, but it also has the interest of the background. The sentiment strip kind of grounds my two images, and there you have it. Now for those of you who like a little less white space or maybe more patterned paper, here's another option that I also created with some of the leftover, some of the extra die cuts that I stamped in my planning process. And then just to remind you of the other cards that have grounding sentiments, you know, just to remind you of those again. A little bit of superhero action, some more soup and comfort food, and then of course it's really a perfect strategy for the hands. Thanks for watching. Now it's your turn. Head over to Nicole's blog to find out all of the details on how to play along and link up. I can't wait to see how you interpret one of my favorite layout designs. This has been Lexi Daly for Paper Tray Inc. Bye!